hard stones again to the finish. So the beginning was very boring, but the last 100 kilometers I think has made up for a good day. Yeah, it's been all the riders have been looking for each other. Obviously Roma is looking for Saint, and I'm looking for Roma all the time to help him. And Lewis beat us today to the finish, and I was second, which is okay.
And so to the day, as far as the cars were concerned, it all started innocently enough. The cars going off 6 by 6. The first leading group away safely. Hedda Hansel, Schlesser, Servia, Botnay, Kleinschmidt, Dillabert. They were there. It was the second group though that got the news of the day. Sousa was in there, as was Shinazuka, Demevius, Matsuoka and Dillabert. Little did they know that ahead of them lay an enormous dune, partially collapsed, and it was to wreak havoc amongst this group. The leaders, they passed by all the bumps nice and safely. Nobody quite knows why today. A different route was taken by the chasing 6. A different route it certainly was, and they paid the price. All was going well, high speed with Sousa going off very fast, pulling away from the group. Ahead of them though, that dune. On board with Sabi. He hasn't seen the dune yet, but he's approaching it fast. He says we're trying to respect the road book because the organisation have made a great effort to wipe out any problems. It's very cold though, he says, without this windscreen. We haven't got great visibility, and we're just trying to keep in touch with the rest. Look at this, he says, braking sensibly. Down he comes to see the wreckage of those who'd been before us. Shinazuka was down, so was Prieto, and Demevius, and critically, Sousa. As you can see, others were arriving very quick indeed. And I can tell you that Sousa and Manuel Lutz are critical in hospital. One other is in a serious condition, Dominic Cerise, the co-driver of Shinazuka. 5 others are injured. That's the latest we have for you. Nobody lost consciousness, but they were hurt badly. The cars had flown over, travelling many, many metres. The wreckage, well, it speaks for itself. Sabi had alerted our TV helicopter, which relayed to the medical centre. They were on their way. We were desperately trying to make them as comfortable as possible. Demevius says, we're all in a line, couldn't do anything. Each one of us was just looking at the car in front. So, when one hits the dunes, normally no problem. This time though, it was a very sharp drop. It just disappeared on the other side. I don't know how it was that the first group passed safely, but it's a great surprise to us. Sousa went over, then me, Prieto and Shino. Very violent impact, he said. He says, I don't feel too bad, but he says, I think I've got compressed vertebra in my spine, both me and my co-driver. And of course, we wish them the very best. It was a huge shock, he said, when we came down. Massive impact. And it's rocked the entire round.
C'est quoi le premier bilan là? 8 blessés au total, tous des problèmes de rachis.
8 injured, he said, 2 with spinal problems. Nobody has lost consciousness yet.
Voilà, c'est bien.
It was only a matter of minutes before the medical team were there. That's part of the magic of this Dakar. They were relayed to hospital. No further details other than those we've already given you. Our thoughts and prayers, of course, are with them. Well, out in front, in that leading group, it was Peter Hansel, heading for another stage win. These blissfully unaware of what had gone on behind them. Schlesser finishing the day 1 minute and 5 seconds off Peter Hansel, and it was buggies 2 and 3 with Servia 3 minutes and 19 off the winning pace, ahead of Fontenay, Kleinschmidt, Delaverne and Matsuoka. Shinazuka did get himself stuck. Thankfully for him, Servia was just behind and was able to tow him off the ridge. So we did have a race on our hands, but the enthusiasm for it muted amongst all those that were watching. Fontenay, fourth fastest, just 3 minutes and 21 off the top. Less than half an hour separating the top 9. Strugo 10th, 35 minutes off the pace. Well, in the absence of Shinazuka, it meant that, of course, that the battle is now between Schlesser and Peter Hansel at the top. Others simply playing bit parts, it seems. Though they, I'm sure, just as the bikers, would argue with that. Delaverne going through. The scenery, well, it was truly beautiful today. Marred only, of course, by that terrible accident. Jimmy Lewis on the bikes had said that you really couldn't trust the terrain. It had flattened out completely. He could only tell by the weight of his bike whether he was going up a hill or down one. News filtering through and people starting to take it a little more easy, thankfully. That's how the results on the day. Peter Hansel takes the stage in 4 hours 25, finishing 1 minute and 5 seconds clear of Schlesser. Servia 3 minutes 19 off the pace ahead of Fontenay and Kleinschmidt. It means overall that Schlesser now leads Peter Hansel by 8 minutes and 56 seconds. Our thoughts with Shinazuka and the rest in hospital. Laurent Bourgnon, one of those who'd taken a dive, as you can see, strained back. Says, just behind the Mevius. When we saw him drop, we braked hard just before. And indeed, he says it's lucky we did. We hit the handbrake, dipped the rear of the car, and as a result, we landed quite flattish. If we hadn't done that, we would have gone over into a dive.
C'est quand même pris le saut par l'avant, quoi.
Well, the co-driver took one of the bumpers and put it at the top of the dune to warn others. Nobody else, thankfully, flew over. But it was a very violent impact, even for us. And I've jarred my back, he says. Not in the best of shape. Laurent Bourgnon, world-class sailor, of course.
Also ich kann mir das nicht vorstellen.
Jutta Kleinschmidt said, I never saw any major problems today. We were all together, the leading six, in a group, and all was okay. In fact, we had great fun. Stage was fine. First part was very quick. She said, in the end, the dunes were just very beautiful, and we just enjoyed ourselves. No problems.
Und ansonsten für uns die Speziale, der erste Teil war wieder mal ein bisschen zu schnell für uns.
Kleinschmidt's renowned as one of the best navigators on course.
Und die letzten 200 haben mir gut gefallen. Da waren dann Dünen und ja, es hat Spaß gemacht, ein bisschen kurviger. Und der letzte Teil war ganz angenehm.
Nous, on l'a vu, le truc, ouais, mais bon.
As well said
On a été un peu surpris.
I saw the dune concerns. We were a little surprised by it, but we passed over gently. Perhaps we took a slightly different route to the others. But I take care, he says, on every dune. Evidently it's slower like that, but you have to be sensible. As a result, we're safely here. Trouble is that only 1 in 1,000 can hurt you. You have to expect it
Ça va passer 1000 fois et à la 1001e, c'était un trou.
And so, what about tomorrow? Well, some of the leaders won't be there. We're going from Al Khofra, a special of 789 kilometres in all, finishing at Dakar in Egypt. So, beautiful scenery it may well be. It proved treacherous today. Let's just keep our fingers crossed. There's no repetition tomorrow.